It takes time for what's done, what's old, what no longer matters to collapse. This confuses a lot of people who wonder and know what's been going on for years, and whatever that domain is over. And there's a transition period that those of us who are more entrepreneurial or more able to handle change and uncertainty dive into. And I don't know what the number is of people like us, but I can't imagine it's more than 4% of the total. And because it is 1%, 4%, 20%, whatever it is, we're creating what's next while what exists has already died. And then what happens is the black swan arrives, which is the obvious next mainstreamed created world that is obvious in hindsight because it's obvious now. Why doesn't this mainstream earlier? Fixed beliefs, always. The belief that the world stays the same. It doesn't. It never does. What is the only constant? We prove this mathematically, and still, to this day, there is a belief that what exists, which is what most people are paying attention to, will continue to exist, but just in a new form. That is never true. There's a new form that has nothing to do with what exists now, that is already present in the marketplace. I learned everything about this selling children's clothing, believe it or not. Why? Because it's one of the most complex markets, and I was at the center of it, and I had the top distribution company in the industry that I built up from nothing. I didn't start it. It was a small family business, but I created a brand and we curated best product. Wisdom of crowds. Back then, I didn't know. I didn't even understand. Who helped me figure out what product lines to carry? My people, the market, the early adopters. And I'm going to mention a name nobody's ever heard of. And I'm going to explain what comes after the collapse of performance branding, power networking, or social media, because it's leaving everyone exhausted. And many of us are already out of it. And then people will say, well, but you're on social media. And my answer is, no, I'm not. I'm completely detached from it because I know it's already died. That doesn't mean we're not going to have social media. It doesn't mean Google's going to go away. It doesn't mean Amazon Marketplace is going to go away. It doesn't mean Facebook is going to go away. It means they're going to be in decline. They're already in decline. This is not about burnout. It's about misalignment, even when the money's still coming in. And that's the issue. When the money's coming in, it's easy to hold on to old thinking. This has happened on Substack now. So the LinkedIn mentality has jumped to Substack in a new form, talking about this isn't like LinkedIn, but they're doing exactly the same thing. The same thing that we were doing from 2012 to 2023 on LinkedIn, on Substack, talking about it's different, but you're selling the same products in the same way, just in a different form. And this is always how it is. And usually the money is the trap at that moment because it's easy to milk the cash cow or try to get another cash cow. And it's not how it works. What works is uncertainty, transition, and working through fear, tolerating the pain of I don't know, but I'm going into that uncertainty to perfect myself, to get strong and live in it long enough to see where it goes. That's the black swan. I think of it like riding a wave that you see out in the ocean and you're just swimming out there. And people are like, oh, that's not a good idea. Don't do that. Um, I shut down a successful business model and I walked away from the metrics and I let go of my reputation, even though I had built one called Solopreneur Inc. in 2023 because I saw it was over, meaning all of it. And what happened wasn't a pivot. I went back to who I've always been, which is I know I'm going to succeed and I'm going to go my own way. And it didn't feel like me. I'm like, I don't want to be popular. It's like middle school. The goal of middle school is not to be popular. The goal is to tolerate the popular kids looking down on you or at you and saying, I don't care because I'm being original. I'm being myself. That's the goal. It's not to be popular. Now, because popularity can be monetized into the millions, there's a confusion around that in the adult business world. And I was not immune to that at all because I wanted the results and I was looking for a next business model because I wanted to get away from my service business. It's killing me. So I jumped into the popularity economy fairly early and I succeeded in it, but it wasn't a stable platform because it's not real. And I didn't realize that until 2023. But the lingering effects of it not being real held on to me. And I thought, wait a minute, when am I going to get popular? But in my own way, on my own terms. And then the answer was never, because that's not what's real. What's real is finding your people and coming together. And there's a lot of science and physics around this. If you look at the math of fractals, if you look at how the Big Bang worked, if you look at universal connected energy, it's all mapped out how this works. It's all about vibrational frequency, and it's all about how your thoughts work, emotional field connection, and trusting your instincts in the body. It's always been this way. And if you feel trapped by your own success, this is for you, what I'm talking about, because you got to get fully out of the old thinking. There can't even be a remnant of it. That took me a couple years to get out of that thinking. I'm like, what am I going to do? Nobody likes me anymore. I lost my mailing list. I'd had hundreds of guests at Solopreneur Inc. stage, and none of them wanted to talk to me anymore when I started talking about what I was feeling and thinking. One person, she's like, boy, you're really triggering. And I'm like, I know. I don't know how not to be unless I put up a mask. And I'm not going to do that anymore to get popular for money because I know it won't work because it's not real. I have to go my own way now. And I did, and it worked. So I'll give you 5 takeaways from this journey that you can use right now to get out of this old thinking of popularity on social media. Income, it's called audience plus income. It doesn't work. The solopreneur model does not work. It doesn't work. It's not real. Ask any kid, what happened when you got in the popular crowd? How was it? I see it with my own daughter right here where I live. I see it everywhere. We see it across the whole society. What's it like being popular on social media? What's it like being a popular celebrity? The crowd turns on you. They turn on each other. If you've ever seen the movie Mean Girls, that's enough right there. Or Cobra Kai, right there, same thing. Now I'm going to talk about zoodles, not noodles, zoodles. It's a children's clothing line, believe it or not. Taught me everything I needed to know about markets and how change works in business and how markets, I can see it almost instantly from my Zoodles days in the 90s. And then I'll give you 5 takeaways from this journey I've been on, and hopefully it's helpful to you. Don't copy me, don't do what I did. Don't learn anything from me. See what resonates and do it for yourself in your own way. If you need help, we got help. Zoodles, I found because I went door to door for years in flyover country in the Midwest. I built a 15-state territory, included one of the states was Ohio. And whenever I build a territory, I go physically to every location I can find. So there was not a store that sold clothing that I didn't show up in in 15 states multiple times. I got on airplanes, I drove box trucks around, I drove a car, I just did it. And I was in a shopping mall, I think it was Canton or Akron, I forget which town. And it was one of those sad kind of shopping malls. And you look at it, you're like, I'm glad I don't own this real estate. And there was a little store in there. And I went in and I'm like, oh, it's a children's clothing store, Cassie and Company, I think it was called. And I'm like, okay, I'm in. What can I sell them? Nothing. And it was all one brand. Zoodles is what it was called, Cassie and Company. They changed it to Zoodles. And I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like, this is different. It's good. Immediately, I'm like, who owns this? And I don't remember all the details, but I know how I operate. So I can kind of track it back. So I asked the person who works there, I said, who's in charge of this? And she said, her name's Cassie. All right, maybe the daughter was Cassie. I don't even remember now. I work with Don, her husband, and because she didn't want to have anything to do with salespeople, nothing. So I said, look, I own the sales repping business in Chicago, and I'm building out this Ohio territory. We have 15 states, and we have relationships with all the top people, and I said, I'm interested in this, and she said, no, she won't be interested. And I'm like, damn it. Can I call her anyways? I called her. She said, I'm not interested. We already have a rep in Ohio. And I said, no, I'm not talking about Ohio. I'm talking about Chicago. Quick thinking. And she says, my husband, Don, takes care of that. And I said, can I talk to Don? She says, fine. He hired us. 200 grand, quick, in commissions. Exploded. It wasn't me. I was just there riding the wave. $70 outfits for 4-year-olds. It was unique. This woman was a cartoonist, and they figured out how to make sweatshirts with leggings, they call it. You know what happened? Couldn't sell it in New York or LA. The kids would have got beat up at school or teased by their friends. That happened later, a couple years later where I lived. It was goofy looking. It was novelty. The moms loved it. So did the kids at first. I think it was 5 years. It was so easy to sell. It was great. It's a trend. This is the point. This is important. Know what a trend is. Know what a stable business model is, and know what a fad is. This was now that I don't even know if there's trends anymore. I think it's all fads. Fast fashion. Fast fashion is also selling courses online, group coaching programs, and audience plus income. It's turned into a fad. It's not even gonna last. It didn't even last that long. Because everything happens so quick now because change. How do you build something stable that withstands change? That's the goal. You don't want to lean into a fad or a trend unless you're a pro. You need serious media money to lean into the fad or trends on social media. Some people can do it. They have agencies behind them doing this. It's very difficult. And I never would work with those people. Every once in a while, I get a call from a celebrity, they're like, well, oh, we sold it to, what was Fred Siegel in LA. We got into Fred Siegel. I'm like, I don't care. Doesn't matter. We're big in New York, don't care. We got an order from Nordstrom. How many doors? A door is locations. One. And I'm like, oh, they're testing it. They're testing it. Is that it? Like, no, but it's People Magazine. Doesn't matter. They're testing it. As a rich person, will they stick with it because it's going to get hard? It's easy to succeed 1 or 2 seasons. What's hard is 5, 7 years later. Do you build a customer base that's loyal? Some of these companies figured out how to do it. They didn't like sales reps like me because we sold up and down the street. So all of a sudden, anything that comes in my showroom ends up everywhere because that was our job. We only had so many stores we could sell. You got 600, 700 accounts. You want to sell as many of them as possible. That's not always good for the manufacturer. You see the point? That's what's happened. You can't go to AI and create a business in AI when everybody else is going to AI to create a business in AI. It's up and down the street. Who wins? The rep. What's the version of the sales rep now? The how to improve yourself person who sold you a course on how to do it. It's not going to work because everyone else is doing it. That's what happened. Made a lot of money on Zoodles until it collapsed. Where did it stay? Atlanta, Dallas. Those were two big markets, bigger than Chicago. They sold small towns all over the Midwest, not Midwest, South. And some of the Midwest small towns kept buying this stuff for a long time. It didn't just go away, but it wasn't big revenue anymore. The markets were collapsing for this. People in certain areas are more conservative. They stick with stuff a really long time before they stop. That's changing because everything's so global. Everybody sees everything now with TikTok, and it's changed. Don't be in fashion cycles unless you know how to do it. Not easy. So here's the 5 takeaways. If I don't have an alternative, I shouldn't be talking about this stuff, or I'm just giving a bunch of opinions. Like who? Social media mountain influencers. Misalignment doesn't mean failure. It means you've outgrown the structure, even if it's not working. So if you feel misaligned with what's going on, you got to be on the wave of what's next, but not a fad, what's really coming into the world, which right now is creative originality. Not being a content creator, that's part of it. Yes, that's a vehicle. You need content. Of course. Content creator, not so much. You're never going to make any money unless you have a big marketing department. And even then, I think it's going to be tough going. Misalignment doesn't mean you failed. I didn't fail with Solopreneur Inc. It means I outgrew the structure, even though it was starting to work. Stillness brings clarity. Acceleration often hides misdirection. That's keep going, keep going, keep going. It's working, it's working, it's working, it's working, it's working, it's working. That doesn't work. Trust me, I tried. Stillness brings clarity. Does that mean becoming a monk? No. A monk's a special job. It's hard to be a monk. It's like a job. I'm going to go be a monk now. They're doing something very specific. No, it means paying attention to yourself. Stillness, paying attention, not being so busy. Third, build from resonance, not reputation. Your people can feel the difference. Resonance is a frequency of knowing because you're in alignment with your purpose and you're bringing your gifts out into the world, releasing yourself from the parking brakes of doubt, holding back, and not saying what you really mean out of fear. Reputation is the popularity contest. So you're a popularity contest winner, now you get a prize. Now what are you going to do? Let go of proving. This is a hard part for me. I'm done proving. I had to prove. Who was I trying to prove myself to? That I saw it years ago. I was like, oh, this is over. Years ago, I saw it. And other people are saying, this is new. Like, it's not new. This is what we were doing years ago, meaning the audience plus income stuff. And social influencer, and I'm not going to argue. I mean, I'm not going to argue with it. And people are like, yeah, but look, they're making money at North Carolina. Well, it's one of the universities now. I'm like, okay, so the worst athletes, but who have a big Twitter following or TikTok following are going to get scholarships. How long is that going to last? You're going to have terrible teams. It's not going to last. Some people are going to say, of course, you don't get it. You don't get it. I'm like, I'm not going to prove anything to you, so why bother? Real entrepreneur begins when you stop trying to earn your worth. It begins when you figure out who you are, what your vision is, and take action on that vision in the market, regardless of what anybody says or does. I don't even pay attention anymore. I'm noticing it, but I don't care. Get there. Success is inevitable, even if your bank account is empty or you're in debt. It doesn't make any difference. You know you're on it. Truth telling is the ultimate business model because it never goes out of style. None of this is new. Why do Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger make so much money? Because they told the truth, always. And they surrounded themselves with other people they could do that with. I've spent so much time, like I've got this book right here, Poor Charlie's Almanac. People are talking about Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett all the time. I'm like, do you know what they did? And the answer is usually no, because I'm listening. I'm saying, okay, you said that. What are you actually doing? And they're doing what Charlie and Warren said not to do. What is a mental model? A mental model is recognizing things that are always true because it never goes out of style. If I'm on a fad or a trend, it's going to go out of style. How does that happen? It's middle school. I can't think of a better analogy than middle school and even high school. Our high school where I live is like a junior college. It's different. There is no popular crowd at our high school because it's too big and all these kids find their own people. Middle school is where the problems are. Cyberbullying, that's a real thing. We've experienced this. And I'm looking at the middle school and I'm like, this is like social media for adults. But people are more polite. Why be polite? Why be nice? Tell the truth. It never goes out of style. Charlie used to sit there and say, Wall Street has too much power. Diversification it means you don't know what you're doing. He'd say that to investors. He was right. Seth Godin, I heard Seth Godin years ago. Stop marketing. Start connecting with people. Build a tribe. He didn't mean build an audience to follow you. He meant build a tribe. I got it right away. And all the marketers applauded and they're taking all these notes and they go back to work. They didn't have a choice. They got it. Some of the smartest people I've ever met are at work in marketing departments of big corporations and media companies. I spent a lot of time with really smart marketing people. It's a job like being a monk. You got to learn how to be a monk. You got to learn how to be a marketing expert. Why? They have big money behind them and media budgets, and they have a job to do for a corporation that lives and dies off pleasing investors and analysts. That's the work. That does not mainstream well, as you may have noticed. It's a con. I don't know what else to say. After years of trying everything, funnels, personal branding, lead gen, masterminds, agency retainers, I've done all of it and succeeded. 7-figure business, lifestyle business years ago. I've gone into more new markets than I can imagine. I didn't even want to do any of it. When I went to Camp Tuckabachi, my first shadow weekend in 2011, they asked me Friday night, what's at risk for you? We got down to first principles, the core. Took a while. On the one hand, on this hand, it's like this, and on the other hand, it's like this, and I'm screwed either way. That's what we got to. On this hand, I can't do this anymore. I'm exhausted by business. I just want a stable paycheck. I am tired of chasing revenue and building things. I'm exhausted. On the one hand, so if I keep going, It's not going to work because it's going to be terrible. Even if I succeed, when I succeed, and I know I'll succeed, I don't want to do it like that. Okay, that's the stand. Now I got there. What's on the other hand? If I give up and become a bartender or something I don't really want to do, but I talk myself into, or get like a mid-level job in some company to get security, which I ended up doing for a little while, 6 months till I got fired, I'm going to be miserable with that too because I have a big ambition and vision. I'm standing there and they're looking at me and they're like, "You got there, didn't you?" I'm like, "I think I did." And they said, "You want to find a better way?" I was like, "Yeah, that's why I'm here." And they said, "Welcome to the weekend." I finally stopped chasing and started listening. To who? Myself. What emerged was not another tactic. I remember people telling me back in 2023, what was it, 2020? No, wait, 2023. Wait, 2024. I can't remember now exactly. Um, your sales methods are, I don't know, Larry. I don't know about your sales method. I don't have any sales methods. It's not another tactic. I'm telling the truth. I know it's bizarre, but I was telling the truth. Um, I had to create a new model. It's a group. It's a purpose I couldn't force, only recognize that purpose. Business doesn't have to be built on pressure. I couldn't do it anymore. That's why I found the other way. It can be built on shared alignment, truth telling, and a different kind of success, which includes money. It's not a trade off, it's a matter of attention and what you're focusing on. That's what we're building inside the entrepreneur experience. And I don't sell it. If it calls to you, you'll know and you'll reach out to us. Oh, 3 more minutes. Um, this is why we don't have the funnel model of cash register at the end. And no thought on how to convert. There's only three things: pay us, we make money together. If you've got something and you don't need this, but you want partnerships, we got that. And third, you want passive income, we got that too. We're rethinking multi-level marketing and how to do it because there's a lot of people who just need a side hustle and passive income. We got that. This is early adopter phase here. We're getting results, and we're getting results with the early adopters. Mainstream, not yet. We have to finish the business model. Not the business model, the infrastructure. It's very big, it's very complex, and the technology is new, and integrating it required. Why? Because some people can't handle any uncertainty or confusion. They're like, "Tell me what to do. Oh my God, organize this." Like, we're not ready for you. So we're giving big discounts to early adopter types. If you're an early adopter and you like change, now's your time to come with us because you're going to get a lot more time from all of us than you're going to get later as this mainstreams. We're always going to give people, I'm always going to give people time if I'm involved. I'm never going on a stage with an audience model from the standpoint of selling from the stage. I won't do it. Others people will in our group because that's what they want to do. That's the point. You go your way. If that's what you've always wanted to do, you should do it. You want to go sell from the stage, you should sell from the stage. We'll help you do that. You want to get big on Substack or LinkedIn, or we'll help you do that without marketing. Experience sharing works, but you got to find your own story. When you find your own story, you can plug that stuff into ChatGPT. Don't prompt ChatGPT. It's not smart enough. All it's going to do is give you what everyone else knows. You put your own stuff in there, you could teach it to be creative. It's amazing, but it's still not very smart. I'm fighting with it all the time. I'm like, that's not what I meant. It puts a nice ending on to smooth everything out so nobody gets upset. And I'm like, that's not what I want to do. I want to tell the truth. I don't care if it triggers somebody. As long as it's true, I'm good. I'm like, chat, you're not listening. This is part of market authority system we're creating. The content machine part is key. And scaling that is a big deal. And we'll be able to. We have a partner that can do it with high level expertise, and he's a top copywriter. So we haven't finished all this stuff yet. But we're doing it now. Early adopter time. I don't mean pioneer time. We're the pioneers. You don't have to pioneer. A lot of people left during the pioneer phase. They're like, this isn't working. I said, yes, it is. And no, it's not. It is. How do you know? Well, you know. And that's the business model for some of us. It's just, you just know. Other people need a lot more structure and a lot more form. And, you know,